hope you guys are doing well today. So I actually finished my junior year last week, which I'm super duper happy about. I feel like it was such a rough road, but it was well worth it in the end. And I went in as a junior really clueless about what it was going to be like, or with like not much advice. And so I thought that it would be really helpful if I was to give that to you guys, especially incoming juniors and stuff like that, so you guys know what might be ahead. And I feel like there's a lot of stereotypes and a lot of expectations in junior year that people like expect it to be, but it really isn't in a way, so I kind of want to clear that up for you guys. And I want you guys to have this rough track of like a rough draft about how, you know, your junior year should probably be like. And I know like for me, for a fact, like one thing that really helped me out was using YouTube and looking up these like junior year reflection videos and stuff like that. So if you guys are really nervous about it, I highly encourage that you guys do that, and hopefully you guys may be able to take use of. This video is going to be into a couple categories. The first category is going to be academics, which includes like your grades and stuff like that, AP classes, IB classes, honors classes, and also it includes like scores and tests. So like your SATs and ACTs and your SAT subjects. The second category is going to be your extracurriculars, so clubs, internships, volunteer opportunities, stuff like that. And then the third category is your social category, so like the social life in junior year. And the last category, which is probably my most favorite one, and I think something that's really important, is the category which I like to call things that I didn't do junior year that I wish I have done. So first period I had pre-calc honors. Second period I had chemistry honors. Third period I had AP art history. Fourth period I had AP US history. Fifth period I had AP psychology, and sixth period I had AP English language. So I took 4 AP classes this year, and I feel like it was a pretty good decent amount to take. It was easy. It was like easy to control and stuff like that, and be able to have A's and stuff. So I totally took that, and I took classes, AP classes this year that were like stuff that I knew I could find my stride in and stuff. So when it comes to social sciences, English, and mathematics and that stuff, and regular sciences, I feel like I have a stride in social sciences and English. So I decided to take AP classes that I knew I could show my best in and stuff like that. And that's why when it came to math and science, I stick with the honors classes, just because I knew that I might not be able to have that A that I wanted for if I were to take like AP Calc or something. So I decided to save AP Calc and like all these math classes for senior year. And I took honors chemistry. I know a lot of people, especially in California, take honors chemistry as sophomores. I should have done that as a sophomore, but the only reason why I didn't was because I took AP Bio as a sophomore, which was a hell of a class, to be honest. And so that's why I took chemistry honors this year, which was a really easy class, at least for me it was. And I was really happy that I took that class, because especially as a junior, because that was like my easygoing class. But I totally recommend that if you are going to be taking classes, choose challenging ones. You don't want to take easy classes, because that's, first of all, colleges are going to know if you're trying to like slide by with the straight A's, but with like easy classes and stuff. So I totally recommend to take those honors classes and take those AP classes especially. And if your school offers IB, which my school did not, take it, because I mean that's a really good experience that really might prepare you for college and stuff like that. So one major tip of advice that I really didn't realize until towards the end was that if you guys feel like you guys need to keep in your scores or what you got on a test or grades and stuff, keep that stuff confidential if you feel like you need to. Don't ever feel pressured to share it with anybody, because really grades, scores, stuff that you get on like tests and stuff, they're not really anybody else's business, even like especially when it comes to your SAT scores and ACT scores and your GPA or your rank and stuff like that. So just keep that stuff confidential, and it really helps a lot, especially like if you stop asking people what they got on their stuff and then they stop asking you what you got. Like, it really creates this like nice little like bubble where everything that you do is kind of personal. And I like to say that sometimes your grades or your GPA or your SAT scores are like your social security number. You don't share them. And the reason why I started doing that was just, even with my closest friends, was that I really felt like once I found out what someone else got, I really got like started feeling bad about myself, or you know, or I I'd start comparing and stuff like that. And really comparing is probably one of the worst things to do, just because you don't know other people's circumstances for doing well and stuff like that. So maybe someone did really good on their SAT test just because they had a tutor or something and you didn't. So like usually you shouldn't be comparing unless you guys are at like the same exact level, or if you guys are like, you know, doing the same exact things or whatever. But in most cases, just don't even compare. Don't bother asking people for what they got on their tests and stuff like that. And it'll make you feel much more better when you go into a test or when you accomplish something. Another thing is seriously stay organized, because if you're not organized, you're most likely going to lose papers and stuff like that. So yeah, just stay organized. The thing when it comes to studying is study efficiently, not long. Like, don't think of studying as studying for long periods of time thinking you're going to get information, because you can sit in a chair and like have a book in front of you and not do anything and call that studying. But what you really should be doing is having a book in front of you or whatever you have in front of you to study, and like using that material really, really efficiently, and just trying to study getting the most information in like the shortest time, because that's really studying effectively and stuff. Another tip of advice is sit in front of the class. If you're going to sit in the back of the class, it's going to really make you like fall asleep or not want to pay attention and stuff. But if you sit in the front of the class, you're mostly like likely going to stay up and stuff. If your teacher's teaching, it's going to be rude if you fall asleep and stuff like that. So like sit in the front. You won't need glasses and stuff like that. At least I didn't need glasses, even though I wear glasses because I was in the front. But just sit in the front because you will learn better, and especially for like math classes and stuff like that, you'll most likely like pay attention more and do better. Another tip of advice that I have is if you guys are taking AP classes, buy your AP books early. So, you know, some AP books can be Barron's or they can be Princeton Review and stuff like that, or Kaplan or whatever. Like, when you take an AP class, if you know you're going to take advantage of the book, buy it early. So, like, if you're starting school in August, buy your books in August for those books, because once you do a unit test, you might be able to cover a chapter from your Barron's book or your Princeton Review book onto your actual unit test for your school year. So when it comes to the end of the year, you might even be done with that prep book for that AP exam, and all you have to do is go back and review and like study in other ways and stuff like that. Another tip of advice is towards the end of the year, so I hope you guys remember this. So usually the day before an AP exam, especially when it's a social science AP exam, so like AP European History, AP World History, and AP US History, there's always going to be some type of crash session that some YouTube teacher does online like the day before, and it's going to be like this live, like Google Live session or whatever, and take advantage of those, especially on the last day, because on the last day you really shouldn't be studying before an AP exam. I mean, you could be like you going over flashcards and stuff like that, but really the last day should be a day where you just basically like go over everything that you studied. You shouldn't be actually studying. And so what I like to do is go on these cram sessions and stuff like that that teachers host online the night before, and they're really useful. I'll link some of them down below, and you know, feel free once it gets closer to the exam to come back and look at that. And also those teachers that usually do that, so like, you know, there's one guy that does like US history videos. Not only does he do a cram session the night before the AP exam, but he'll do like unit like reviews and stuff like that for each chapter. So maybe if you're taking the test, maybe the day before you can watch a video for that for your unit test and study that way. Another tip of advice is that if you guys are going to be like writing notes or copying notes from your teacher and stuff like that, only copy the notes that you know that you need. Like, I know everybody has a tendency to copy the exact same notes that the teacher writes down on the board. You don't need to do that. Like, if your teacher is writing a lot of stuff, take in the information that you feel you'll forget or you need to actually write down to put it in your head and stuff like that. But if there's any information that's already in your head or information that you feel that's irrelevant, or if your teacher says that's irrelevant, don't even bother writing it down, because in the end it's just going to be a lot of more review and stuff that you probably should have had not need. Another really big tip of advice is, like, seriously guys, like, study in moderation. Like, don't like study the night before, even for a unit test. That's one thing I saw is, like, if you study in more of like chunks and stuff like that, that can be a difference from getting an A to a D. And that was me for my AP Art History class. I had a unit test every single week for AP Art History for every content, and I would usually study the day before because I was like, oh, we always have a test, like, seriously. But then I started studying a little bit, like 3 or 2 days in advance, So like if the test was on Tuesday, I would study Saturday and Sunday, and then Monday would be my review day, and then Tuesday would be the test, and I would just study in chunks, and I swear to God, it helps in so many ways. You do much more better, you perform much more better on your test, it sticks to you better, and you're more calmer when you're taking the test. So like when people say study in moderation and don't cram, I seriously mean it. Like another thing that's kind of a stereotype that I wanted to clear out that a lot of people say about junior year is that you're going to lose a lot of sleep. Though this might be true, for me this wasn't much of the case. I lost a lot of sleep for junior year because of the workload I had, not because I was studying late and stuff like that. Like I would lose a lot of sleep just because I'd be trying to type up, or I'd redo an assignment, or I needed to like, I don't know, like do this like video note essay or whatever for like AP Art History or something. And I would stay up really late, sometimes I would stay up to 2 o'clock and stuff like that doing it. And when I mean I don't stay up late studying, I have done that a couple of times, but honestly when I wake up and take the test the next day, I still get like a B or C on tests and stuff like that, which honestly was pointless to just study at night and stuff. So if you guys are really going to stay up late studying, you know, usually just do it for homework assignments or projects or stuff like that if you're trying to like reach for perfection and stuff, and if you want that A. But when it comes to studying, try to avoid that, just because a lot of the stuff that you do after a certain time will just be like pretty, like you just won't remember it in the morning. So just try to get that sleep. In terms of sleep and stuff like that, yes, junior year is a really busy year. Yes, you will be super busy with workload and stuff like that. However, know your time that you usually crash. And what I mean by that is, like, for me, when I like stay up doing homework and stuff, like I fall asleep at 11 o'clock, but I usually crash at 10:45, which means that anything I do past 10:45 does not usually stick in my head, or I'm in the mentality of trying to fall asleep that I just don't remember anything. So like know your time when you start crashing and stuff like that, and try to study before that time, and then do your homework after that time. So like I would try to study before 10:45, and then like after 10:45 I would just do homework that really doesn't need any memorization or anything like that. And as I said, to know yourself and know your crash time, really know yourself junior year. That's going to be a big difference between you doing well and you failing and stuff like that. Just knowing yourself, knowing the way that you study, whether or not you study better with videos. So now we're gonna go to your extracurriculars, so like clubs and like sports and stuff like that. So junior year should be a year that you guys don't downgrade from the stuff that you do. You guys should keep it consistent with what you did freshman and sophomore year. The thing is, try new things. So try clubs. I know for me I had a different story because I was treasurer of a club freshman year, and then I was president of it sophomore year, and I've been consistent with it since, and I've been in many more clubs and stuff. That was really because I wasn't scared to join clubs. I was really curious and I wanted my time at school to be spent wisely, but I know that's not the case for most people. Most people are probably shy about joining things and stuff. So go ahead and try to join a club like junior year, and then try to gain a leadership position junior year, because honestly that's one of the things that colleges do look for is leadership positions. But it's not really just that, it's what you do with the club. And you could be a leadership or like a president of a club and stuff like that, but if you guys don't do anything, then really there's no point of it. Like try to do things that you know that's worth memorable for the club. Try to do things for the better good of the club and stuff and the community. So just don't think of getting that leadership position, but also think about what you're gonna do for that club that's going to be really like extraordinary to write about on your application and stuff. And I know a lot of people say this, so I'm going to say this to you. A lot of admissions officers, they read thousands and thousands of essays, so they probably know when you don't show passion for something you're writing about, so like your extracurriculars. So do things when you have passion for that. Another thing is internships. So if you have an idea, which a lot of people don't, which I don't blame them, if you don't have an idea of like what your future job might be, your major and stuff like that, try to find an internship in association to that. So sophomore year I actually interned at an assemblywoman's office and stuff like that, and that was a great opportunity for me to learn about what I'm probably getting myself into and stuff. So I totally recommend internships. You learn a lot, you learn about a lot of connections and stuff, and you get inspired by a lot of people, and you learn, and like if you're doing internships with like kids the same age as you, it's one of the best things ever, because you're in this group with these kids that have the same goals as you for their future. So that I didn't do was do my SAT subject test all in June. So I was a little bit good at this, where I took my SAT subject tests, which are like little subjects that you could take aside from your SATs, like such as world history, English and stuff like that. And I took mine the day after, I took my AP US history exam. So I took the US history subject test the day after, which was perfect, right on time. The only thing I regret is that I wish I took more subject tests. So when you do an SAT subject test, I think you have a maximum of taking 3, and I only did 1, and I wish I did 2 more, just because when you take your subject test, you can't also take your SATs. So like I did my SATs in June and stuff like that, but now next time when I have to take my SATs, I won't have time to do my subject tests. So try to work that stuff out with your subject tests and stuff, and plan ahead what's best for you. And I think what's best for everyone is just taking their SAT subject test once they're done with their AP exams and stuff, because it's fresh in your mind, and most likely you took that AP exam for it. So you just study for it, but you did most of the covering, so you're basically good. The thing I really regret is not taking AP Calc or AP Stats or some type of math AP class. And the reason why I regret this is because a lot of students in my school did take AP Stats, a lot of juniors did, and I went ahead and took AP Psychology. And though I knew I could do better at AP Psychology, since I'm better at social sciences, I wish I did go ahead and take AP Statistics, just because I feel like that's a junior year class, and now I'm scared that like I'm going to be taking one of the easy AP classes senior year, which I hope, you know, that is, I don't think that's a thing, but like on websites like College Confidential, like you hear stuff like that, and that kind of gets me iffy. The thing is that on websites like College Confidential, which I'm pretty sure most of you that are watching my video have probably seen and stuff like that, is there's gonna be a lot of stuck-up people that like literally complain about their scores, or like, I don't know, just brag about something, or like, you know, talk about their extraordinary like summer thing or whatever. And don't ever feel pressured or obligated to do exactly what they did and stuff like that. And also try to stay away from websites like that, especially when it comes to SAT scores and stuff like that, because it will scare the good Jesus out of you, because it did scare me, the good Jesus out of me. That is it for the video, and honestly guys, junior year is what you make out of it. If you've been consistent with having good grades and taking challenging classes as freshmen and sophomores, junior year would not be that much bad for you. But if you have it, it might be a challenge. It's really different. Just try to get help from everybody that you know, and just be calm about it. You know, just really come into it with a good mind, with a good heart, with a good mindset and stuff. Be calm when you take a lot of stuff and tests and stuff like that, and just look for a goal that might seriously like make you be motivated to do better and stuff like that towards the end of the year. And really just have fun with it. Don't isolate people, and just basically experience your high school year. Thank you guys all for watching. This is the end for the video, and if you guys have any questions about junior year and school in general, please feel free to comment below. I would love to answer your questions, and stay tuned for more videos. I'm on summer vacation and I literally have nothing to do with my life, so just stay tuned to that, and I will see you guys later. Bye guys!